Well, in fact, I will hand over the baton straight away to Mike, who will be giving an update from the LINX product team, which mostly consists of Mike, with support from others, of course. That looks good. Thanks, Mike. Go ahead.
Thanks, Norani. Yeah, so I'm back with the usual update on where we are with products, how products are doing, what new developments we are working on. So the first part is really just an update and a little bit the very first part, a little bit of a repeat what Curtis already mentioned. So obviously we have now implemented a new pricing scheme where we're separating the access port from the actual service, and there are many reasons behind that all got explained over time. But one of the main benefits, of course, it allows us to offer a very cost-efficient upgrade path for members which are still on 1 gig ports to move to a 10 gig port. They can have a 10 gig port, but only put a 1 gig, 2 gig, 5 gig peering service on top of that. And actually, as part of your membership fee, where in the past it included a 1 gig port, it now includes a 10 gig port with a 1 gig peering service for any new members joining, or anybody who currently is on 1 gig and wants to upgrade. So this also allows us kind of a first gradual step in moving away from 1 gig ports on the medium term. But also, and that's what leads it into the other products, it of course allows all of the members a much easier combination of different services on one same port, i.e. you have your peering service at a certain bandwidth, and you can then add other services on top of that port, or even order a port dedicated just for cloud services, or if you have significant bandwidth needs for private VLAN type services, you can do that on a dedicated port without a peering service on that port. So the other products. So what are the other products really? We've talked quite a lot about all of these. The initial ones that we launched probably 2 years ago. And in kind of a soft launch fashion, our private VLAN, so point-to-point connection across our fabric, or closed user group, which is kind of multi-point environment network for your services. They were initially only available on LAN 1. We expanded that towards the end of last year to the majority of our platforms. So it's LAN 1, LAN 2, Manchester, and LINX Nova, where they are all available in similar forms. And we have seen over the last year, really, we have seen a gradual pickup of these services being used by our members for all kind of different use cases. We have members using it to basically, they're using it as part of a service that they provide. There are DDoS mitigation type services offered by our members, which use private VLAN or closed user group as the back path of the clean traffic back to their customer. There are members, and we know that there has always been members who were offering transit across links by doing that simply through the peering session, but now they can do that, of course, in a much cleaner, separated way, in using dedicated private VLANs to offer these services across the fabric. Again, making use of the benefits that the end user of that service, their customer, doesn't necessarily need to order a new port. They don't need to have an additional cross connect. They can just combine it with their peering service on their existing ports, or if they want, order dedicated ports for those. Others are using it for extending layer 2 type services. We know there's some limitations in regards to MTU, and we're still looking in what our options are. The only options that we have would be to use dedicated ports if you want a higher MTU. So we're still looking into the options we have to make that as transparent and flexible as possible for members who want to use it. I think the other part that, as Ricardo mentioned in his update, with the additional work on IX API. So the implementation of IX API version 2 will then also allow ordering these services directly through the API. The other set of products that we launched last year are the different, well, they all fall under what we call LINX Cloud Connect set of products. They're really two categories. The first one, even though we put it into that same category, it isn't really a cloud product. It's the Azure peering service. So Microsoft's kind of peering service that over the past year, they probably changed a little bit how they position it. And it really is more for them, quite an easy way to even get much smaller networks who currently probably wouldn't qualify for direct peering with Microsoft, as smaller networks don't necessarily reach the minimum requirements that they want you to have before having a direct peering with them. And that's really how they're positioning at the moment the Azure peering service, since it gives you the possibility, even if you have a very small network or a small amount of traffic towards Microsoft, doing that through the Azure peering services is a very fast and easy way to do it. The way it works is really, it's a LINX managed closed user group. In the end that we're applying, it has two dedicated root servers in that closed user group that are managed by LINX. So you basically get a port, well, a logical port into that closed user group. You set up BGP sessions with those two root servers, and your prefixes will get announced to Microsoft. So we have two direct interconnections with Microsoft for this service, and you can start at as low as 50 meg service to Microsoft. So you get direct peering, public peering with Microsoft, without having to deal with the Microsoft peering team, which can be a bit tedious, as I'm being told. So this kind of removes all of that, and but still gives you direct public peering with Microsoft. So an interesting, probably a bit of a niche product, but clearly an interesting product, especially for the smaller members out there, to still get that direct peering with Microsoft. The other one are the typical cloud connection services, so layer 2 services, i.e. the corresponding brand names, Azure Express Route or AWS Direct Connect, which we have seen over the past couple of months quite a lot of interest in these. We have implemented the first services, probably with some initial issues getting the first ones up. So we're very thankful for the first one or two members who kind of played a little bit guinea pig in working with us to get the services up. But we are learning a lot. We're learning a lot about how members actually, how they want to use it, how they want to use them, even though we talked a lot to members before we launched these. I think what we're currently seeing, there seems to be the majority of them is actually members buying it for their customers. So extending it through them, and this giving them an easy and fast way of again making use of their connections to links that they already have, and the team that they already know working with to implement these services. So we're definitely seeing demand, and as I said, we have started to implement the first service which are in production now. It is we also, and it's not really a surprise, we kind of expected it. A lot of the call it the sales process for a lot of these services probably a little bit longer than if somebody just wants to peer at LINX. I think we want to make sure to understand the use cases. There's a lot of learning at both sides, both from the members who are interested in it and from our side. But I think we find ourselves in a good position. And we're continuing to build up the skill set also of the sales team and also of the NOC for supporting these services, which can become a little bit more complex than a simple connection to a peering LAN. But there's clearly a need out there for these services. So that's really at the moment. In addition, of course, there are the other services that I don't want to forget. There's co-location that we provide, and we continuously see that growing demand from our members to help them with getting racks in the different data centers where we have agreements with. Again, making use of the benefit. It's one invoice. It's the same team they can deal with. They don't have to deal necessarily direct with the data center. So all of these fall nicely together and allow us to build nice sets of products for all kind of organizations that are interested. There's obviously a limit on what type of services that we want to offer ourselves, especially if a lot of our members are already offering these type of services. And that's really where the marketplace comes into all of this. And especially this first version of the marketplace that we're very close to launching now. It's really it's providing our community, our membership, all of you, a place, a simple method where you can present your services that you think might be interesting for the members, especially if they if they need connectivity between you and your customers' network across LINX. That's the ideal scenario, but that's really what it is. So any member partner can list their services on the marketplace, allowing them also to offer these services across our platform, making that process much easier, and allowing every member to expand their service if they want across the reach of our fabrics in the different sites. There is in this, especially in this phase, there's no charge for being listed on the marketplace. We are not really involved in the transaction between anybody who lists their services and the other member who's using it, especially not in this phase. It's purely giving you the opportunity to list your services that you think are interesting, and as such making the platform, continuing to add value to the platform that we can provide. So where are we at the moment? We're pretty much done. So these are screenshots taken from the live website, the UAT version, not public version of the website. So all of the development is pretty much completed. It's pretty straightforward. It allows you to search for services either by categories or by locations, or if you know the company name, all relatively straightforward. An example of how the pages for services being offered can look like, and the possibility to contact the person who's offering the service, contact them through the marketplace in a direct method. So as you've seen, so the platform itself is complete. We have just completed all of our internal UAT testing of it. There are a couple of minor changes that are currently being done. The login authentication of it, as Richard mentioned, we're making use of the benefit that we have, the Okta integration. So this just reuses your login, the same login that you have on the portal. You just use it here, and it just falls back to Okta for the authentication. So we didn't have to deal with any of that part in the implementation. And this platform was actually developed outside of our own software team with an external partner. So that made that very easy and allowed us to do that in parallel with all of the work that the software team does. We're at the moment adding the initial set of, well, I call them participants, members or partners, to get them listed with their services. And we expect to launch it over the coming weeks. Definitely going to be launched in Q1. as we're pretty much close to be there. I called it initially, it's phase one of the platform. We have a lot of plans of where we want to go with it, but a lot of it depends really how members, all of you, are going to use it, what you want. We do want to focus on further integration, ideally automation, making use of IX API or third-party APIs, your own APIs if you do so, to make ordering of services and even direct provisioning of services possible. But we really want to initially see what the feedback is and how members and partners are using it. So it's really driven by the use case that we're going to see over the coming weeks and months as it has gone live, and we then decide where we take it from here. And that pretty much covers what I have as updates for you this afternoon.